Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and children of all ages. I'd like to welcome all of you beautiful people to my vortex. And only the beautiful people are in search of the unadulterated truth. For those of you who don't know, the VOR in vortex is the acronym for voice of reason, as I endeavor to be. And this is my text. So I present my vortex. All right. Every subscriber is a blessing and every viewer is a gift and vice versa. So feel free to subscribe if the spirit hits you or just enjoy the ride on this excursion of knowledge. And please leave a comment in the comment section below. As you know, I value your feedback and perspectives. And you know, I like to get back at everybody when I have the time to it and when I can, I value your feedback and your perspective. So please leave something, okay? All right. Remember, this is the information. Age and ignorance is a choice. In the climate of fake news and cancel culture, I do endeavor to be the voice of reason by bringing you an aggregation of knowledge to help finesse and edify your cognitive facility and give you a balanced perspective on the things that matter going on in this experience called life. Now, if you hear any uncomfortable truths, remember, the truth has no obligation to be comfortable. It just has to be honest. Anything I say is not meant to be discriminative against any race of people, individual, or group of people. I am not a racist. I only like to bang on topics unless you deserve it. Okay, now, today is the 23rd of July, 2024, according to that Gregorian calendar. And I'm gonna keep banging on it until we get it right, you guys. Now, I pray you all have been keeping well and staying healthy mentally, spiritually, and physically. Remember, your diet isn't just what you eat, it's also what you hear, what you say, what you see, and what you allow into your soul, into your personal space. So stay away from toxic things and toxic people, especially. You have to detox your spirit. You got to detox that spirit, you guys, So think about it. What would be the point of going vegan or eating organic foods and exercising to help detox your body, but you still have a toxic mind and a toxic spirit? What would be the point of that? So you have to detox your spirit, detox your soul, get all those unwanted things out of your system. Kick them out, okay? Now, I told you guys about this before, and I always talk about this. I'd like to welcome you all to the hottest year ever recorded by the Meteorological Agency. Listen, saying it's the hottest years in succession is not just a weather report. It's a damn wake the F up call. I told you all before, we're entering the age of Aquarius and the planet is heating up. Let the sun shine, let the sun shine in, the sun shine in. Remember that? If you guys remember that song, The Age of Aquarius, Let the Sun Shine In, that's what's happening. I talked about that. I went in depth about that on another video a while back about entering the age of Aquarius and how things are heating up. It's time to get your house in order. Your house is your mind and your spirit. And if you are vibrating on that higher positive frequency of love, peace, understanding, praying / meditating, and allowing your God gene to manifest within you, you will make the ascension to the next level of spiritual consciousness. Some will call it heaven. Now, those of you who are too consumed with the heavy aspects of life that is pulling and weighing you down, materialism, greed, selfishness, hate, envy, monetary excess, you will be vibrating on such a low frequency that the sun's radiation will just toast your molecules and leave you on that low state of vibration. Now, some may call that hell. Look, it's being explained to you cosmologically, scientifically, esoterically, and religiously. At the end of the day, it's your life and your soul. Either you save it or you don't. I can just give you the roadmap and you just have to follow. And I don't mean like just me specifically, people like myself who are trying to give you guys the roadmap to how to help you ascend to that higher level, that golden ratio of phi and what they want to call heaven, and that where we're supposed to be, because we're not living in the paradigm that we're supposed to be living in. We've all been put in this place that's like, it's just not working for anybody, and it's all going down. So this is our chance to vibrate on that higher frequency and ascend out of this state, okay? That's all this is talking about, you guys, okay? Now, this is something I really want to get into, you guys. If 2023 and 2024 hasn't taught us anything else, we all have learned to stay the F away from celebrity private parties. That means if any A-list celebrity invites you to a private party, I don't care if it's on a yacht, in Dubai, in Cancun, on top of the Eiffel Tower, or at the Beverly Hilton, like Cat Williams says, you gotta say no. You gotta say no. Because if that celebrity is into some secret room, backdoor, sexual, deviant activity, you will be guilty by association. Just being a guest now makes you an accessory to the crime, according to social media judiciary. So you social media keyboard warriors, you know, you guys like the P. Diddy thing or the Jeff Epstein thing, just somebody just happened to be invited, you know, like if somebody, you know, an A-list celebrity had invited me to their party, I'd feel it's a privilege, and I dress up and show up, walking around with a drink, and they'll be going, see, Jeffrey was there. See, he's into that stuff too. We knew it. We knew it all along. We always knew. And that's what they're doing to a lot of people who just happen to have been there. Now, I'm not saying that they were into it or not, because I don't know and you don't know. But just being guilty by showing up at a party. So you could have just been chilling at the poolside or at the bar having a drink. But according to the social media juries of your peers, you are just as guilty for posing for a photo with that host or for just being spotted at the party. So I'm just warning you all, stay away from these celebrity private parties, or your name and career just might be canceled too. Now, this is the world we're living in, you guys, and the repercussions of the internet giving everybody a voice in the comment section can be brutal. And the sad part about it is, I want you guys to lean in on this. Opinions are like an asshole. Everybody has one. So, you know, you guys, be careful with throwing your opinions around. And speaking of, you know, social media, keyboard warriors, and online, you know, assaults and stuff like that, you guys, I want to talk about this rapper beef. I really want to talk about this. Speaking of celebrities, I feel it's my onus and my responsibility as an old school peer in the music industry to speak out and warn the artists and public to try and calm down and de-escalate these beef between rappers and stop helping to fan the flames of conflict. Do we so easily forget the past? We all saw how it ended with Tupac and the Notorious B.I.G., you know? So I know you all love controversy and everyone loves a good fight, but when an artist has millions of loyal fans and admirers, things can turn out of hand and become very dangerous. Just recently, Rick Ross was accosted by Drake fans in Canada. It could have resulted in a much more tragic outcome. Thank God the only thing that was damaged was Rick Ross' ego, because he got punched in the face by some of Drake's fans in Canada. I know you guys probably saw that video online. I just don't see any entertainment value or positive outcomes with rappers going at each other so viciously and amping up their fans' anger towards that rapper and his fans. And you people are on social media leaving all these volatile comments and encouraging these beefs to continue. Then what if something tragic were to happen to one of your favorite rappers? Then what will you do? Come back to the comment sections with condolences? You know, that's all you can do. So please, if you truly love and support your favorite rapper and artist, sorry about the screen shaking, you guys. If you truly support them and love them, you guys, you would try to help them calm down whatever beef or problem they might be experiencing with another artist. Real talent isn't just in the music and the lyrics. The ability to restrain your anger also requires talent. I don't want to see anything bad happening to any of these young talented artists, you guys. And you fools need to stop encouraging it. It's supposed to be the music industry, not a war zone and not a killing field. Think about it. Could you imagine if back in the days, if Shalamar was making a diss track against the Jacksons, or Earth, Wind & Fire was beefing with Kool and the Gang? Well, they are a gang, But it's a musical game, you guys. Or if Lionel Richie was dissing Marvin Gaye, there was a little rivalry going on between Rick James and Prince, but it never got violent or too out of hand. And it was the media pitching Prince against Michael Jackson. The media was creating that, you guys, so it never was real. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. Competition is healthy. Competition is healthy. But disrespecting other artists is totally out of order and shouldn't be entertained, especially in the hip hop community where it can lead to death. So that's my input, as an elder in the industry. I am considered an elder in this industry. I'm considered a legend in this industry. And I think more of us should come out and speak out and trying to help to guide the youth in the right direction. I know some of them don't listen and they'll be snapping back like, well, you ain't had a hit since 1931. And so what? You ain't making money. You ain't getting paid. So this is the stupid thing they come back retorting with when we're trying to, give them a voice of reason or a word of advice. But, we care about the people coming up behind us, and we wish the best for you all. And you guys need to stop instigating this stuff online when you see it happening and just feeding into it and encouraging it to go further and further. Rick Ross just got accosted up in Canada. Remember what happened when the B.I.G. and Tupac was at it? Some of the East Coast rappers couldn't go to the West Coast, and some of the West Coast rappers couldn't even go to the East Coast. That's how bad out of hand this thing got. We don't want to see this all over again, you guys. So please, whatever's going on between Kendrick Lamar and Drake and whatever started it, I really don't know, you guys, but I'm just seeing what's going back and forth, and that maybe if Drake disrespected him and he had to answer him and say something, leave that between them, you guys. Let's not all get involved, and let's not all just exacerbate the whole thing into a big, violent, deadly issue. I hope it all cools down, you guys. I like them all. Some say that Drake isn't really hip hop. I don't know. But that Hotline Bling, you used to call me on the cell phone late night when you need my love. That was jamming. Now think, if Lil Wayne or Kanye had made that track, it would be hip hop. I think that is hip hop. Maybe he's not you guys don't consider him like the greatest hip hop rapper or a rapper in that, and he does a lot of singing in that. He makes hit records. Whatever he did to piss off Kendrick Lamar, I don't know, and I'm not trying to defend him, and I'm not trying to defend anyone else, because by default, Kendrick Lamar is my boy because we're both West Coast legends. We're both from LA, So I gotta, but the point is, you guys, let's not let these things get out of hand. Let's not let these things get out of hand, okay, you guys? All right, they're all great artists, and there's room for everybody. There's room for everybody, okay? That's all I got to say, okay? That's all I got to say about that, okay? All right, now, I want to talk about this AI takeover. If my screen is shaking sometimes, you guys, this thing isn't steady, so let me try to, maybe I'm making it worse. Okay, all right, okay. All right, here we go. I want to talk about this AI takeover, you guys. Are you all keeping up with this whole AI takeover debacle? I know you all are so enthralled with the Trump assassination attempt and trying to see if, Kamala Harris is going to be there, or Biden was trying to stay in the race, but you all need to pay attention to what's going on right under our noses. I have asked this question before, and I now must ask it again. Why do we have to place all of our personal, sensitive, valuable data into cyberspace? We have lived for thousands of years in the natural, organic, and analog world, and it worked like a charm. And now overnight, we have all become residents in this virtual cyberspace. Well, last Friday taught us all a very concerning and disturbing lesson for placing our activities and businesses in cyberspace. But get this, the very company that's meant to protect our personal assets from cyber attacks and hackers was invariably the cause of the biggest IT cyber crash in history last Friday. The company is ironically called CrowdStrike. CrowdStrike? Okay, well, let's see how much crowd they managed to strike. And I got the receipts right here, you guys. So it's a multi-billion-dollar cybersecurity technology firm based in Austin, Texas. It was uploading a security upgrade that was meant to continue guarding some of the biggest Fortune 500 and global Windows operating systems. But it was faulty and it crashed systems across the planet, leaving commercial pilots, flight crews, planes over 6,855 passengers stranded, still counting. Delivery service, medical services, banks, preparations for the Paris 2024 Olympics rattled. A New York City Times Square billboard went blank. Homeland Security, the Department of Justice, NASA, the space agency, Social Security, and 911 help services in some states, and employment payroll systems, just to name a few, rendered offline and helpless. Wow, imagine that. Now, as I'm talking to you, many platforms around the world are still offline, and it could take days or weeks to retrieve some of the services. I heard that every single affected device has to be manually rebooted, and that it's an insurmountable and massive undertaking. And institutions with extremely sensitive data, I think they talk about Homeland Security, Department of Justice, NASA, Social Security, things like that, they have to be specifically handled to be rebooted. And that takes, more time. So all I'm saying is, if we insist on placing all of our existential information and services in cyberspace, we are in desperate need of a contingency plan in place in case the so-called better than human efficiency platforms fail, and fail it did on a monumental scale. Now, if our data is so vital, why not have a backup plan B and C in place? Simple. So here's the red flag. And I think you all should lean into this with me right here. Lean in on me with this, They're in the process of making our homes smart homes, our cars smart cars, banking, passports, and monetary exchanges integrated into one master control system. Now, apart from an accidental system crash like we just witnessed and we're still in the middle of, what happens if your government deems you a social dissident, or you have overdue warrants that you haven't paid or something, or your ideology or religious beliefs are not in congruity with the powers that be? All they have to do is click one switch, and you will no longer have access to your own home, your car or personal transportation, banking, medical help, shopping, passport trouble, communication providers, or any other services that are on systems. You will be completely canceled, locked out of society. So why are we allowing ourselves to be placed in such a precarious position? I don't get it. 8 billion people allowing only enough people to fill up a boardroom to dictate where our lives are going and how we should conduct our lives. I don't know, you guys. This is not a prediction. This is the imminent and foreseeable future that is culminating and happening in real time. And all of you are so excited about getting into the metaverse and using our avatars to interact with other people's avatars instead of real people. And we're being groomed to devalue humanity. Is that what's happening? Are we being groomed to devalue humanity? This technology is actually replacing and devaluing humans. Excuse me. I was just in London not too long ago. And I went shopping in a department store, and there was no checkout person. I just had to take all my things and scan it and put it in the bag and check it out myself. They're replacing us. So if they succeed with this paradigm, what is going to happen to humans that should have been working there? Where are all these jobs going? Think about it, you guys. And the internet is rife with cybercrimes. The CNN As Equal Plans International Survey just claimed that 72% of women face harm on Facebook. 46% of women feel harm on WhatsApp. 23% of women feel harm on Instagram, and 19% of the women in the country feel harm on TikTok. So now crime has a new platform in cyberspace. I would say cyberspace is far less secure than the real world, because the criminals are now hiding behind pseudo names and fake identities. And this is where they're in the process of shoving 8 billion people. It's like leading the lambs to the slaughter. Nah. You all just might as well just start, warming up your your lamb and your goat cries and stuff like that, because that's what's happening. They're just leading us off. And check this out, you guys. I saw a video not too long ago of this African family who was visiting in San Francisco, and they were over the moon because they ordered a driverless taxi. And they were talking about how developed the Western world is compared to Africa. Well, lean in with me, you beautiful people. I want you guys to lean in on this. They now have driverless taxis operating in San Francisco, and people are so amazed to see a car pull up to collect them with no driver behind the wheel. And I know this is some futuristic Blade Runner type reality that we're all have been waiting to arrive. But do you not see the implications of such a service? Before the vehicle arrives, you have to order it, type in your ID, your credit card information, and destination. So now they know where you are currently located, who you are, how much you're spending, and where you are going before you even arrive there. Why do they need so much real-time information on us? Think, people. At least they can't monitor our minds. Not yet. But we got to think, you guys. We have to think. We are allowing them to take total control of every move we make, even some before we make them. Why? We have to think, you guys. You have to think. You know, they can't control our thinking yet, but they're working on it. Because Elon Musk has a Neuralink company, I told you guys about this before, that's interfacing the human brain with a computer chip. But the real question is, why? Why? I know you conscious, beautiful people already have a clue as to why, but we won't get into that today. I mean, that's another story. I've told you guys about this stuff before. I've talked about it before at length, and maybe I'll do something again in the future to cover the why these things are happening. And I think you guys have an idea of why, other than complete and total control, okay? Now, I want to talk about the return of Trump. You know, this guy is so ubiquitous in our media these days. It's like, wow. You guys, I know everybody is having a wow moment with this whole Trump fiasco going on. Wow. And the whole election as a whole, the whole election process right now is going through a thing. President Biden has officially dropped out of the presidential race, and it looks like the first ever female vice president in the U.S. may be in line to run for the first ever female president of the United States of America. Things are getting more heated and interesting for the 47th position of the president of the U.S. And they may try to slide another Democrat into the candidacy. I don't know now, instead of Kamala Harris, but let's see how the saga unfolds, because she looks like she pretty much got it sold up, but you never know. Now, but do you think America would prefer a female over a convicted felon for president? Only time will tell. The only thing that excites me about the possibility of Kamala Harris being the first ever female president is a big signal to the ladies of the world. I personally think that it's time for the ladies to have a shot, because those men are screwing up everything and women are much more efficient and reliable. Yes, I said it. Yes, I said it. Women are smarter than men. Yes, I said it. Yes, I said it. You know, I mean, we were all raised by wise and resourceful mothers, were we not? You know, most of us were, you know. If not, you know, sorry about that. But, you know, so I'm good with a woman at the helm of power for a change. I'm good with that, you guys. And Kamala Harris just made a record-breaking $81 million campaign donation in the first 24 hours. And as we speak, it's well over 100 million and growing. Trump's just has 53 million. 53 million is a lot of money. I mean, put it in my bank, I wouldn't cry. But Trump, he's supposed to be the billionaire. Oh, I'm one of the richest men in the world. I'm the most successful businessman. I'm a billionaire. And Trump only has $53 million. And Kamala Harris has over $100 million and growing. And this is just her first 48 hours. So let's see how this thing continues to go, you guys. As I always say, I really don't like talking about Trump, and I'm not a news reporter, but we have to address the elephant in the room. And this so-called assassination attempt. Okay, let's just get that out of the way first. Let's get this out of the way. And I call it the so-called assassination attempt. Now, about this so-called assassination attempt and how a lone wolf was allowed to roam around the sealed off outer perimeter of where the crowd was designated to be at an open rally that was secured by the Secret Service and local police departments, that's beyond questionable. That's beyond questionable. But wait, it gets better. They even say that he was being profiled by security agents as looking odd and suspicious before he took a ladder and climbed up on the roof in broad daylight. On a blistery day, mind you. It was in broad daylight on a blistery day. This one guy did all this around a whole secured perimeter where a former president was coming to speak that was already under the threat of some, there was a plot by Iran to assassinate him or something like that. You guys, it's like, I'm not going to speculate or feed into the conjectures, but what I always encourage you to do is question everything, people. We have to question everything in these situations. Now, the only thing I immediately questioned was after Trump got back on his feet, after, the tip of his ear supposedly was shot off. Anyway, and before he was ushered off the podium by his security agents, why would he say, fight, 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 pumping his fist? Shouldn't he be saying, vote, vote, vote? Is fighting or voting supposed to get him in office? Fight who? Fight who? You see, he's telling on himself. Was that another dog whistle to his extremist groups in case he loses the elections again? To fight? I thought these rallies were designed to attract voters, not soldiers. The last time he encouraged his supporters to fight, he incited an insurrection that attacked the nation's citadel of democracy. And it was a bloody and deadly event. Participants are still serving prison time for that event, and he's still chanting fight instead of vote. Think about that. Think about that. The next thing I have to say about this whole Trump business is, I do understand the American Constitution at all. I just don't get it, you guys. Its ambiguity, excuse me, got tongue tied. Its ambiguity has made me and every other law-abiding citizen lost for words. You see, according to the law, if I or you have a felony crime on our records, we lose the right to vote, purchase a home in our name, can't run for political office, and the list goes on and on and on. So why is Donald J. Trump even running for president again after being found guilty of 34 felony charges, and he still has a litany of cases still in progress? That's the billion-dollar rhetorical question. How can he still be eligible? At this point, we have no idea who will win the most votes between Trump or Harris. But the one thing I can assure you is, if Trump were to lose again, there will be violent outbreaks across America. He has already warned us, and in fact, he has threatened us on camera. In his own words, there will be a bloodbath if he doesn't win the presidency. However, if Trump wins the coming election, there's going to be a global reaction among our allied countries and affected economies. His America First mantra is as threatening as his make European countries pay more for NATO or what the China flu insults and all this stuff. I'm not saying coronavirus didn't originate from the Wuhan virology lab, but a president of one of the superpower nations of the earth must learn how to use some semblance of decorum when he speaks to the nation and to the world. A world leader's words, they hold weight. A world leader's words holds weight. They actually do matter. That's why the presidency retains a staff of writers to help articulate their thoughts in the most diplomatic and responsible manner possible. Just because you occupy that seat of power doesn't give you the right to be a political bully. And we all know that Trump has a proclivity for going off script and shooting from the hip. That's what he does. He even speaks pejoratively about his own constituents once they step to the left, let alone his political rivals and other world leaders who he takes pleasure in engaging in polemical exchanges. You know, the man is incapable of comporting his temperament, and he wants to lead your nation. He's incapable of comporting his temperament. He can't do it, you know? Now, I'm not an anti-Trumper, don't get me wrong. But one thing he has shown us is that he will do anything to stay in power. And he has reasons beyond political ambitions. You see, if he gets back in office, his plethora of pending court cases can be suspended or dismissed. This guy is fighting for his life. He's not just fighting for the presidency. He's not just fighting for the country. The guy is fighting for his life, you guys. Don't be fooled. Don't drink the Kool-Aid. Don't drink it, you know. Do we even make Kool-Aid anymore? If so, don't drink it, okay? Now, to this day, I am dumbfounded that no one else has used the same word to describe Donald J. Trump as I have found as far back as 2020. Donald J. Trump is solipsistic, okay? I know it's a tongue twister, but you can say it, solipsistic. That's what he is. He suffers solipsism. Now, please look up the word for yourselves. Then hit me back up in the comment sections with your feedback, because I usually give the meaning of words that I use that are not very colloquial, but I really want you to feel the meaning of this particular word by looking it up yourselves. I'm not just trying to be ostentatious, okay? I'm not trying to show off, okay? There's a meaning behind this word, you know? And no one else has used it in the media. I'm so surprised. I'm so surprised. I'm the only person I know that has used the word solipsistic and solipsism to describe Donald J. Trump. The reason why I don't want to tell you guys what it means, that if you don't know, because once you look it up, you will go, wow, this is him. So I'm not going to spoil it for you guys. I want you guys to look it up yourselves, okay? Now, I'm going off script real quick, because I composed this commentary a couple of days ago, and things keep evolving as we go. So I just want to talk about one last thing. They were grilling the head of the Secret Service, and she just stepped down from her job because they were telling her she didn't need to be there. I don't want to go into conspiracy theories and conjectures and all this kind of stuff, you guys, but I think something is seriously wrong. I thought so from day one. First of all, the way the guy was allowed total access to that whole area. It's like he had a backstage, all access area backstage pass. He went everywhere. They even have him on camera roaming around. That's the first one. Number two, this lady was being grilled by Congress of what went wrong with the Secret Service. Now, what she did say was the fault is on her, and she takes the blame. I think she's falling on the sword, you guys. Like Joe Biden just fell on the sword for his party. I think she's falling on the sword for somebody else, because when they asked her, did you bring the list of the Secret Service agents that were on duty? She said, well, I'll have to get back to you. They said, okay, then the answer is no. How can she show up for a hearing of what went wrong with that event with the Secret Service without a list of the service members who were on duty? She didn't have it. Then they said, okay, do you have an audio recording of what had transpired as it was transpiring? I'll have to get back to you. How does she show up empty-handed for this? Something's wrong. 2, 3. I want you guys to go back and look at the reruns of that. Go on YouTube or whatever it is and look at those Secret Service agents. Secret Service agents. Do they look like real Secret Service agents? They look like actors. I could be wrong. One lady was fumbling, trying to get her gun out and back into her holster. The guys that were there, that were nicely groomed with sunglasses on, they're just doing like this, and they didn't know what to do. You could hear them on tape. Okay, what do we do? Where are we going? Where are we going? What are we doing? They didn't know what to do. You saw what happened when Ronald Reagan was shot. You saw what happened when JFK was shot. You saw what happened when Robert F. Kennedy was shot in that hotel. And how the people rush and they get them out of there. They just got on the ground with Trump. They didn't know what to do. Then they got him up, and then they were looking around, and they're just holding an arm up like this. Like, how would they know which direction the shots will be coming from? How did they know if there wouldn't be more shooters? You don't know. So the thing you got to do is get that man the hell up out of there. You don't let him stop and pose and start pumping his fist to go fight, 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 and pose for cameras. I mean, that was a very iconic shot. That, I have to admit, that shot with Trump pumping his fist with the flag behind him and the blue sky and the Secret Service agents with the blood on his face, that photo is going to go down in history. In fact, Trump is going to be one of the most, how can I say, can I say iconic, or one of the most prominent presidents in U.S. history. But all for the wrong reasons, though. But this guy will be taught. That photo that's like when they, what was it? Bunker Hill or Hamburger Hill, when the soldiers planted the American flag in World War II or whatever like that. That's iconic like that. That photo is iconic. You guys got to give it up. And that photographer, that guy was off the chain, because he was just there. He didn't duck. He didn't flinch. He was just continuing to shoot. That thing seems staged. That thing seems to, and even after they got him in the car, they didn't just zip off. The car was there for a while. It was hesitant. And then some soldiers came in. Go back and look at this, you guys. This thing seems like a high school skit, like a play. That's why this lady didn't have the list of the agents, because I think they were hired. I could be wrong. But my perspicacity is telling me that something is seriously, gravely wrong with this thing. It looks staged. I don't know. And if that's just my personal feeling, but what about this hearing? And the lady she's the head of the Secret Service agency, and she didn't even bring the materials required to help her go through this case and prove what did go wrong or what didn't go wrong. She had to substantiate herself with this stuff, and she didn't bring it. She didn't have the list of the names of the agents that were on duty. She didn't have any of the recordings of what happened. Think, you guys. You got to think. Something's wrong with that, you guys. So all I'm saying is, think for yourselves, you guys. I'm just trying to finesse and edify your cognitive facilities, and you guys got to think for yourselves, and you will appreciate me later. You will thank me later. But, I do enjoy finessing your cognitive facilities. You beautiful people, you. Now, on a happier note, let me wrap this up, you guys. I'm not going to keep you long. On a happier note, Shalamar, featuring Howard Hewitt, Carolyn Griffey, and Jeffrey Daniel, will be performing in the United States after how many years? Decades? I mean, we did a show here and we did a show there, but we got like about six or seven dates lined up. We got Chicago, we got Detroit, we're doing Los Angeles. I can't wait to do that. We're doing Sacramento. I think we're doing, is it Boston or Baltimore, somewhere like that. And we're doing a couple of places we're doing Sacramento, California, another place, and then Los Angeles. I am so excited, you guys, to be performing back in America again. And I hope you all come out and help us spread the love and, come out and enjoy the legacy of the Shalamar hits. We're still performing. I haven't lost a leg, and I wasn't in the war, didn't get shot, so I'm still up there doing my dancing. Howard Hewitt is still blowing his butt off. That boy is still in prime condition. Carolyn Griffey, baby girl, has brought a whole new energy into Shalamar, and that girl is just giving us, all she has, and she's just like ramping it up for us. So you guys got to come and check it out, okay? So we hope to see you all there next month in August. If you want to look for the dates, go to Facebook, Shalamar Friends on Facebook. And then if you want to come back to me on Facebook, Jeffrey Daniel, or Jeffrey Daniel of Shalamar, or just Jeffrey Daniel. Go to my Facebook page and I will post, some of the dates and some of the places where we're going to be performing at. And so it's going to be very exciting, you guys. So, I'm going to be very happy to see you. In the meantime, you guys, please take care of yourselves. Let's see what happens with Kamala Harris, because it's going to be, what was she? She used to convict people. And I forgot what they call an attorney or something. She used to convict people, and now she's running against a convicted felon for the presidency of America. Figure that. And that woman is sharp. She's proving a lot of people in just 24 to 48 hours, she's turning a lot of heads over to her. I would love to see a woman take the helm of power. I would love to see that, you guys. You know, women used to run our civilizations. We don't give women enough credit. And every person walking, living, and breathing on this planet came from a woman. And we don't give women enough credit. And I think we need to give women enough credit. Back in ancient Egypt and back in our days, women were queens. Women helped crown kings. Women were so involved in so many things. It was this whole Western paradigm to put women in the back seat. That's not an African thing. That's not an African thing, putting the woman in the back seat. Do you guys know who the first mathematician in the world was? Who's the first mathematician? A woman. A woman. How do we know this? Because a woman had to count her menstrual cycle. Because she started, back in the primordial days or whatever, she would bleed periodically, and then she started counting how many days was between them. Boom, 28 days. Once she started counting that, they started counting, wait a minute, there's a full moon every 28 days. Now that began the month. While the men were out hunting and gathering and doing these things, it was the women back doing the agriculture, and the woman taking care of the home and this and that and that. That's why they're such good organizers. I'm taking us back to the primitive times and things like that. But that's it. Plus, but we have to really bow to the women, because the women go through so much for us men and for our families, and then carry a baby for 9 months inside their body and go through the pains of delivering that baby. So we have to give more props to the women. And I would love to see a woman come to the helm of power. I would love to see that happen, you guys. So let's stop being so chauvinistic and macho and, let the women take over. I hope she beats Trump out. I don't have a dog in that race, and, I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a Republican. I'm just a human on this planet Earth going through this experience, And I'm going to tell you guys something. I would love to see a woman in power. So let's see how this unfolds, because things are happening daily. Things are happening daily. So that's why we have to keep up with things. Everything is happening so precipitously, so we have to keep up with everything. So anyway, you guys, I love you all. This is Jeffrey Daniel again from Abuja, Nigeria. It's the rainy season here, so it's kind of cold. Our cold is like, I don't know if in America they do Fahrenheit, but our cold is 27 Celsius, 26 Celsius. They think that's cold here, but it's not really cold. But it's cooled down. But it's the rainy season. I mean, we're having some torrential deluge coming down over here. So I'm not getting flooded out, nothing like that, but the rain comes down when it comes down. I don't know if you guys know this, but the rainy season in Nigeria lasts for 6 months. It's about 6 months, from April till about October, something like that. Yes, it's a long rain. It doesn't rain every day. And there are days where the sun comes out and it's nice and bright and hot in between and stuff like that. But yeah, we have a long rainy season up here, you guys. So anyway, take care of yourselves. Stay cool, stay smart, make love great again. I want you guys to spread the love. Until the next time, this is Jeffrey Daniels VORtext, and this is my VORtext that's pulling you guys into this information. And I just wish the best for everybody. Let's see what happens with the American election. Let's see what happens everywhere around the world, because everywhere things are going on. America's getting hot again. The fires are breaking out on the West Coast again. I've been telling you guys, it's heating up. Global warming is a natural cosmological phenomena. It has nothing to do with our CO2 emissions, even though we do contribute, but that is not it. Even if we didn't use that, this would still be going on, because we're moving into a whole new age and the planet is heating up. That's what's going on. You guys get your house in order, because your molecules will heat up and you're going to move to the higher or lower frequency. That's all I got to say about that. Okay, I love you much. Take care. Bye-bye.